A little bit of housekeeping. If you have questions, please put them in the Q&A section, which is on the right-hand side. There's a little icon with a question mark. That is the Q&A. Please put questions in there, and you can also vote them. And I am doing this webinar by myself, so I'm not going to be able to manage everything in the chat at the moment, but I will have a look at everything later. So just wanted to let you know. And also, I just discovered that my mouse has about 8% of battery life left. So if you see me fiddle around, I'm putting my old manual mouse on, but it doesn't work all the way. So I'm hoping I can avoid that. So also, I wanted to let you know that I am working on a new course that teaches courses, naturally. And everyone who signed up for the webinar will automatically be added to my mailing list. You can, of course, unsubscribe at any time, but I will be sending you more information about this new course, which I'm hoping to finish in the next week or two. I always suffer from capacity optimism. I always think I can do things quicker than I actually can. But I also, once I start a course, I realize, well, there's a lot more that I want to add, because I don't just video record my courses. I don't just have videos. I also have a lot of written content, because sometimes I know people prefer to also read things in writing. They don't always have to then go through the videos if they're looking for something, for instance. So I actually always have text as well, that accompanies my my video lessons. So so it always takes longer than you think, but I'm always optimistic. Anyway, so I just wanted to let you know that. Also, for those of you who don't know who I am, I have been using Squarespace for a long time, since 2008. I was a blogger back then, and I've actually been a blogger since 2005, and I discovered Squarespace in 2008, and I've been on that platform ever since. And I always loved redesigning my blogs and my website. And so when we moved here to America in 2015, I redesigned a friend's website, her business website, changed her business overnight. And that's when I decided, well, hey, why don't I become a web designer? And then in 2016, I launched my first online course teaching how to build a course in Squarespace, called Squarespace 101. Some of you might remember that. And then I added more courses over the years. In 2019, I then stopped designing one-on-one websites, because it just became too much for one person. I loved designing websites, but I couldn't manage both, teaching and that. And I also love teaching. So I, experimented, and I thought, well, I'll just do teaching and just do online courses and see how it goes. And well, here we are in 2023, still doing it, built a very successful business around it. And I have always hosted my courses on Squarespace. I was always adamant that I wanted to keep everything in one place. And thank you, Martin. You remember Squarespace 101. That's very gratifying. That was teaching 7.0. And apart from wanting to have everything in one place, I also just wanted to have the styling options that I had on Squarespace. So my first course was using a blog that was password protected. And I had to have a little Java hack, actually, that would send the purchase email via Zapier to MailChimp, which is what I was using at the time, because we didn't even have campaigns yet. To deliver the password automatically after someone bought the course. And that worked. That worked actually great for a few years. I ended up teaching that method, as some of you know. And so eventually we had campaigns, so that made the password delivery easier. And then when was it now? 3 years ago or 2 years ago? I can't remember now. I lose track of time, but Squarespace launched member areas. And member areas allowed our students or our customers now to actually create accounts on your website with their own password, so I didn't have to have a page password anymore. So I moved all of my courses to member areas. And that worked to a degree, but as those of you who've been using member areas know there were some challenges. You know, we had the limit of 10. We also could not bundle courses. You know, if you have more than one and you wanted to bundle, again, I had to have a workaround. You know, I actually used commerce products because you could bundle those to sell my courses. So I didn't use the member area product. I actually used a commerce product. And then I used campaigns, you know, to email the login details for member areas. It wasn't great. You know, I mean, it worked, you know, but it wasn't ideal. So I am actually most excited about the new pricing plans that Squarespace have now launched together with courses that allow us to create pricing plans, and then we can add multiple digital products to those. And it works great. I absolutely love it. The sign-up process is so much easier now. So anyway, so I want to take you through courses. We'll talk about member areas. We'll talk about pricing, because a lot of people are confused about what they actually have to pay for if they want to use courses. And also, you know, what is important to you when you have a course, you know, and is Squarespace the right platform for you? So the way I have done this, oh, Teresa, I don't know if you can hear. You said you can't see anything. Can other people see me? If you could just say something in the comments. The webinar has started. Okay, thank you guys. So the way I do this now is I pre-recorded my presentation. It's just under half an hour long. So I will be sharing the pre-recording, because that allows me then to manage the chat, you know. So if you have any questions, you know, while you're watching this, I will try and answer in the chat. But remember, put your questions in the Q&A section on the right. And then after the webinar, after the presentation, I will come and I will go through the questions as well. And I'll try to answer as many as I can. I'm happy to go a little bit over time, you know, but so we'll kind of see how it goes. Anyway, so I'm going to do a screen share now. And so let me just get this sorted. Okay. And I'm going to put myself up there. I'm going to mute my my mic and my camera, and I'll turn this on in a moment. If you guys could please let me know again in the chat that you can hear the sound of the video that I'm about to play, that would be great. Thank you. Welcome to Selling Online Courses with Squarespace. As you know, Squarespace launched a new product last week called Courses, that they specifically designed for course creators, and it's pretty exciting. In this webinar, I want to give you an introduction to courses. We're also going to look at courses versus member sites, which is what used to be called member areas. And we're going to look at pricing, because Squarespace has, you know, kind of confusing pricing actually. So we're going to have a look at that. How much is all this going to cost? And also, is courses right for you? So let us start by looking at courses. I am on my test website here, and adding a course is actually really easy. Just go to your pages or website menu, and then, you know, in the not linked section, click on the plus sign, and this is where you get all your different page types that we have. And then here under collections, we have course now, because a course is essentially a collection, you know, like a blog or like a shop with products, that kind of thing. We have a couple of predefined templates here. All of this can be changed. So just select one of those. And this will now put the course into your website. And then you rename it, very similar to when you add a page. And then it will bring you into your course overview. So the course overview page is the landing page for your course. It has a overview of all the modules that's already, you know, built in. And then you can just easily add sections, you know. So if you go to edit this, you can easily add sections just like you can with a regular page in Squarespace. I love that. So we have a lot of styling options here. And then on the left here, you go to course content. And then here is where all your modules and your lessons live. Very similar to a blog, except that we can actually have folders, or for the modules, and then in those folders we have the lessons, and you can easily move things around. I mean, I just love that, so even the chapters, you can move everything around, and so you have a lot of flexibility. That is so nice. If you go into a lesson, so unlike a blog post, we actually have all of the styling options that we have on a regular page in Squarespace. So the way a lesson is structured, at the top you will always have the course name and the completion and continue button. And then we have a video that you can upload directly to Squarespace, or you can still embed Vimeo or YouTube videos as well. And then we have the lesson title. And then here, any section that you want. So again, we can just easily add any kind of section here that you can use on a regular page as well. So you have a lot of styling options. You can make really beautiful lessons this way. I can see how this is really a game changer for, visual entrepreneurs, for instance, like artists or photographers, who teach online or cooking, because you can just make it so beautiful, and provide this amazing experience for your students. And then, the section itself, we have some options here as well, regarding the, sorry, not the sections, that's just our regular section options. The layout of our lesson, we have some options here as well, a few design options. We can choose colors and all that. Now, the other thing that is really nice about this, let me actually just exit this for a moment so that we don't get the distraction of our editing lines. We have a sidebar now. Now, you have to make sure that your students know where to find it. Once they know where it is, it's going to be easy. It kind of looks a little hidden. I wish this was a little bit larger, actually. But here on the right, you have the menu icon, and you just click on that, and it will slide out the sidebar. And then all of your lessons will be listed here, and your students will easily be able to navigate between them. They can also complete lessons right here in the sidebar, or if they go into the lesson, well, because this is now completed, it says next lesson, and if it hasn't been completed yet, it will be complete and continue. And then if you go to the sidebar, then it will also be checked off here. So that is really nice. Also, if you go back to the course landing page, you can just click on the course name, and that takes you back to the landing page. And then here, everything will also be checked off. So this is just a way for your students to easily denote what they have done and what not. Now, there is no way in the backend for us to see how far students have gone with their lessons. There are no progress tools that we have in the backend, like some of the other learning platforms have. So if that is really important to you, then Squarespace still won't be able to do that. Personally, I have never cared about that. I mean, I don't need to control my students' progress that way. My courses are all self-study courses. Students take them at their own pace, and that is absolutely fine. If there's any feedback that they have for me, they will let me know. They will reach out. But I don't know. I just let my students do their own thing. However, there are, of course, types of courses where you maybe need a bit more control, where you need to see where people are at, and in that case, you are probably better off looking at one of the other platforms like Kajabi or Teachable or one of those. But yeah, for me, I really love that my students themselves can basically check off lessons now that they have completed. And I really like the way we can navigate through this. The other thing that I really, really love is the pricing. Now let's go back to the main course section here. You can see here now something called pricing plans. And if you click on that, You can either add to an existing pricing plan. So I have some mock-up plans here already, or you can create a pricing plan. So when you start a course, it doesn't automatically, give you the option to add a price to it. This is where you would do that. So you create a pricing plan here. You go through all of these options. What I really like is that, for instance, we have a list of benefits here now. And then here you can choose, the fixed amount. You can also add a payment option here. So you can have, for instance, a initial payment, and then you can have, not that. You can give people the option to have a one-time payment or to have like 3 payments, so you can do payment plans that way, as well as offer that. And so here you can see on the right, so you have 1 payment or 2 payments, in this case. And, and then here you can have, you can have up to 6 payments, and then it will be offered as an option here. You can also have a subscription or a fee or make it free. And then here you include the products. So this is how you create bundles. You can actually add more digital products. And right now, a digital product is either a member site or a course, So this is now where if you have more than 1 course, then you can actually bundle them, So say you have 6 courses, then you can create bundles with like 3 courses in them or 6 courses in them. I love that. We were never able to do that. So this is where you would do that. You can also have sign-up limits. So if you have a dedicated registration period for a course, this is where you can set a start date and an end date. So I think this is just really, really nice. I like this a lot. And, so you can also, find all of this information. I'm just going to get out of that for now. In your commerce section. So if we go back to our website and go all the way back to our main dashboard under selling, if you look at products, and then here we have now everything we can sell in Squarespace, physical products, services, digital downloads, digital products. Don't be confused, because downloads are digital downloads. So that should, strictly speaking, be a digital product. But right now it's not, because all of these first 4 products are part of the commerce ecosystem on Squarespace. And digital products is a little bit separate still. So they're either gonna, rename this, or maybe they're gonna find a way to put it into digital products. But at the moment, a digital download, so if you sell downloadable files, that still has to go through the commerce store, not through digital products. Digital products are courses and member sites. So just to clarify that. Now let us go back and have a look at member sites, because what should we use and what does this mean if we already have member sites? Now you can add courses to a member site. I could even take this course here and move it into my member site. And it would then, if this course already had a price to it, it would discard that price, and then the member site price would come into effect. So a member site, has a price, whatever that is, and then that includes anything that you add in that particular member site. So it can be a course plus other things as well. And we can have more than 10 member sites now. Which is really nice, and unlimited courses. So it really depends on the kind of program you run. So if we have a look at member sites and add a page, member site is very much like a folder that contains any kind of page type that we can have in Squarespace. So you could add a blog here, that would sit behind the paywall. You can add a store, so if you have a member store, for instance, you can put that in here. You can add portfolios and events. Video pages we can still do. So if, for instance, you are a course creator who only has videos, but you don't do any text or downloads or anything like that, then you could actually also do a video collection. And I think actually, if we look at the not linked section here, let's go to videos for a moment. And this is the layout. And if we go into the videos, Yeah, pricing plans, so that is also part of the digital products. So that is still great for people who, like yoga instructors or cooking schools, where you predominantly sell videos. Then you can use a video page, and then that will be available, as a digital product. So basically, videos are digital products, courses are digital products, member sites are digital products. But member site is like an all-encompassing thing where you can add, so in this member site, I could also add videos, for instance, so it really depends on what you want to offer. I mean, I like that you can potentially create like really amazing programs using member sites, for instance, and you don't pay separate for each of these. You just have the one price for digital products. And then with that, you can create unlimited member sites, unlimited courses, unlimited video libraries. And so really, have a think about what makes sense to you. If a student is logged in, you see here, if you use the member sites, it changes the top navigation. That's in 7.1, by the way. This doesn't work in 7.0. 7.0 doesn't work that way. And also courses does not work in 7.0. It's only for 7.1. But in 7.1, in a member site, you have your navigation here, and then everything in there will show in here. So you can click on the course, and then people can still go back up here and look at the other content in the member site as well. So I feel there's a lot of scope here, a lot of flexibility here to just create something really awesome, for your students. And so I hope that has only offer courses, then I would say just create your course in the not linked section here. You don't need to have member sites, and just use it that way. Finally, I want to just take you through what this looks like for the student experience. So let's go to my website and look at like a real course. Well, not a real course, it's not launched yet. So let's have a look. And Polar, let's be Polar. And so Polar has 4 products. So if you look here, digital products. Now, 3 of these products are member sites, and 1 of them is a course product. So if you offer both, you just have to make sure that your students understand where to find what. Navigation is so important. I always want it to be really easy for my students to find what they need. And I'm actually going to have to think about what I'm going to do with all this now, because there's no automated way to transfer the content from a member site into a courses. That's not possible. I will have to do that manually. So I'll have to kind of think a little bit about how I'm going to do that. So then, here from the account dashboard, they can navigate to the different courses. So let's say they want to go to SEO Plus. Now, because this is a member site, then, they will also see the other courses at the top here, and they can easily jump from one to the other. Now, I use a plugin, for the course navigation here, or for the course menu at the top. And I quite like that. But if they want to go to the courses course, they have to go back to their dashboard, go back to their digital products, and then click on this one here. And here, they don't actually see the top navigation because this is not a member site. This is a course that lives in the not linked section. And I actually have hidden my navigation. Normally, they would see my regular website navigation if they are in a courses product. I don't really like that. If you look at this again here, if we have, let us move that courses back to the not linked section in our test website. So you can see here that, this is just the regular navigation for the website, at the top. I mean, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but I find that a little bit distracting, so I actually prefer to not have anything here. except for if they want to get back to my website, they can click on my logo. And of course, they want to access their account here as well. So that's why I still keep the header here. I just use some CSS to hide the rest of it. I also use CSS to hide the footer. I don't want the footer in here, not in the course. And yeah, so then, from here, they can easily then navigate to one of the lessons, and, they can, click on that. And actually what I wanted to have the previous lesson just to show, how I style it, for instance. So I don't actually use the main video at the top because I like the header to look like this. This is very clean to me. You can get back to the course landing page here, and then here it clearly outlines what the lesson is. And then, so I just added a section and add the video that way. You can do that. You don't have to use the top video section. And what I really like is, that I can do things like this here. I have a worksheet here, so I can make it a little visual. I can add a button. This is just really nice. And then I can just use Squarespace styling, to create my columns and just make it visually very clean and very easy to navigate. And then here, students can just go on the right here, and they can see all of the lessons. They can see which ones they have already taken. So I think that is a really nice student experience. Let's have a look at pricing now. So let me get back to my presentation. So this is one thing that I feel Squarespace really could still do some work in, because a lot of people are confused. Well, I already have a website plan, so do I have to pay for this extra now, for courses and for campaigns? Here's email marketing with it. And I really wish Squarespace just had like 3 tiers which included all of these products, and yeah, like many of the course platforms have, like Kajabi or Teachable. I don't know, but it just means that you have to be mindful and just do a little bit of homework upfront as to what you need. So if you want to use courses, you have to be on a business plan or a commerce plan. It doesn't work with the personal plan. So the business plan is always a good idea if you have an online business, and because it gives you, additional features, and I just really like it. Now, don't be confused by it saying here, in integrated commerce incurs a 3% transaction fee, which is, when we talk about transaction fees on website plans, that's always in addition to the payment processing fees for Stripe or for PayPal. So these transaction fees are on top of that. But this one here is for an e-commerce store, for physical products, for services and that kind of thing. Courses does not fall into that. Courses is a digital product. It's not considered an e-commerce product. So you don't actually, so it's not included with that here. So this is not affected by these 3%. And of course, if you are on a commerce plan, let's say you sell other things as well, then there is a 0% transaction fee. But this is for your website. This is your website plan, your website fee. Then the digital products is an add-on, so we have add-ons for digital products, for email marketing, for scheduling. So that's all in addition to your website plan. So for courses, you can sell courses with a business or a commerce plan, so you have to be on one of those. And here they have 3 tiers as well. Now the starter plan has a hefty transaction fee of 7%. So this is literally just if you want to try this out, and you don't want to have like a huge monthly expense. I'll show you a little spreadsheet in a moment that I use to figure out my costs. Core plan is probably what most people will use. The difference between these 3 plans is in the transaction fee and in the amount of video storage that you get. So on the core plan, you get 50 hours. On the professional plan, you get unlimited video hours and 0% transaction fees. Now let me have actually, we also have, I just wanted to include that as well. If you want to include email marketing, then also here, we have different tiers. So it's just like, have a look at this. I love having everything in one place. And once I have figured out the pricing and which plan I need to be on for each of the features, then I pay for it, and then that's it. Then I don't really have to think about it anymore. So it just means a little bit of upfront work, to figure this out. And the good thing is also that with your plans, you can always upgrade or downgrade at any time. Of course, if you are on an annual plan, if you pay annually, then it makes more sense to do it at that annual point, But if you're on a, maybe just go on a monthly plan to start, to check it all out. So here is a spreadsheet that I like to use, and you can create one for yourself as well, because then, or you can even just write it all out, on a piece of paper. So the 4 courses, this is specifically if you want to use courses. So here is the monthly fee. Here we have, the starter, the core, and the pro. Then we have our website fee. So I've just used the business plan fee here. And then I'm also including campaigns because I use email campaigns as well, which works great with courses. It's all integrated. And and then here are my monthly costs. So these are my monthly fixed costs. And I'm comparing it here to Kajabi. And you can, of course, compare it to any of the platforms that you either already use or that you are also looking at. And then here we have the transaction fees, So the Pro plan is at 0%. Kajabi has 0% on all of their plans, but they, of course, have higher monthly fees as well. And then here, what I did is I, took a course fee of $597. And then how many do I sell every month? If I sell 5, this is what I make, and if I sell 20, this is what I make. And how much does that cost me? And you can see that if you're on the starter plan, it already is the most expensive here. It just adds up really quickly, those 7%. The 3%, they actually kind of add up too, And so if you just sell, if you make $3,000 a month, you are actually best off on the Pro plan, because it doesn't have a transaction fee. And the Pro plan on Squarespace for courses is comparable to the growth plan on Kajabi price-wise. So price-wise, they are very similar. And when you try to decide if courses is for you, or should you go with one of the learning management systems, the LMS, Kajabi, Thinkific, Thinkable, Teachable, and all of those, then it really comes down to the features. And you, again, have to decide what is important to you. So we have a lot of different things that we can compare. Is a website included, courses, email marketing, scheduling, or Kajabi, for instance, has a community built in and built-in events that you can sell. And whereas on Squarespace, you have a commerce shop, So for me, for instance, I sell a physical product, my Yuli planner. And I love that I can do that on my website as well as courses. I couldn't do that on Kajabi. On Kajabi, I'd have to get, I think, a Shopify plugin or something like that. And all these things like brand consistency, how easy is it to set up, styling options, much, much better in Squarespace. I have tried the Kajabi website builder, and oh my gosh, it's a pain. It's really painful. And so personally, I really did not like that, So I think Squarespace are just miles ahead when it comes to intuitive design and easy, making it really easy. Kajabi is quite confusing, actually. And I'm just mentioning Kajabi because I took a real deep dive over the last few weeks into Kajabi, because I really wanted to see, now that we have courses, is Squarespace still my best option? Because there are things I do like about Kajabi. They do have nice course templates, for instance. Anyway, so what they also have is, things like you can track your students' progress, you have built-in quizzes, built-in affiliate marketing, certificates, check out bump offers. I think Squarespace will work on these things. They do want to add more features. they are really nice features, and I can see how for some course creators, they're really important features. You know, these are things that you want to make use of. Again, then have a look at one of the other systems. You know, for me personally, they're not important enough. I mean, if Squarespace ever added, for instance, affiliate marketing, I would certainly check it out. But to run an affiliate program is actually quite a lot of work if you want to do it well. And right now, I'm just a one-person business, you know, so I don't really have the time for that right now. And but if it was easy for me to use, if it was built in, then I would definitely consider it. Absolutely, you know. But right now, I mean, thankfully, my students recommend me anyway, you know. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, so to me, it's just not a priority. What is important to me, and you have to figure out what is important to you. My most important criteria is that the learning experience is enjoyable and user-friendly for my students. And I think that is achieved with Squarespace. And it's important to me that my design is 100% brand consistent. It is because it's in my website and because Squarespace has global settings for things like fonts and colors. So it's really easy to be brand consistent. Not so much in Kajabi. I was really surprised. You know, I have to actually set fonts and colors individually for each course. And this is how things get so messy. And that's how they get so inconsistent as well. And even on the website, you know, not every page has the same styling. I was really surprised by that. Squarespace makes it a lot easier and a lot more intuitive. It's easy to set up, it's easy to use, both for me and for my students. It keeps my content safe. Again, styling options. I have so many styling options, and I personally, I just love that. It's not important to perfectly fine. You know, I'm just listing here, you know, what I like and what is important to me, and why I have hosted my courses on Squarespace for so many years. I love managing everything easily in one place, you know, including email marketing as well. And really more beauty and less tech overwhelm. That is really how I sum up Squarespace. And anyway, so I hope that this was helpful. And I'm going to go back now to the webinar and ready for your Q&As. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So I know there is still so much confusion about the pricing, and I am totally with you guys. Squarespace really do not make that easy for people, you know, because you have your website plans, you know, for your website, but then you have all these add-ons, and then each add-on has a tier in itself as well. And it's yeah, it's a blooming pain. They know that. And I really hope that one day they are going to change how they do that. However, you know, I will actually send you a link to this spreadsheet, you know, that I use when I email you later, because that will really help. Because ultimately, what it comes down to with Squarespace is you have to pay for your website. If you want to use digital products, which includes member sites and courses and video pages, any of that, there is an add-on for digital products. If you want to use email marketing, that is also an add-on for campaigns. You know, so you basically have 3 fees that you pay. But once you have it set up, once you've worked out which one you need, then you don't have to think about this anymore. You know, so it just means that upfront you have to do a little bit of calculation, you know, especially compared to other systems if you're looking at other systems. Now, I know that some people, you know, for instance, when you use Thrivecart, you know, Thrivecart is a one-off payment, and they actually have a teaching platform as well, which is included with that. And yes, that can make a lot of sense. Or maybe one of the other platforms, you know, have features that you prefer, you know, like being able to track student progress in the back end. You know, so you really have to, you know, make a list of what you really need, and then, you know, figure it out from there. So just, you know, do a little bit of homework. And, now for me personally, I just love being on Squarespace because I love the student experience. For instance, I've taken courses that people have on Thrivecart. I just don't like it. I don't like how it looks. And it just doesn't, maybe it's just because I'm a designer, I'm a visual person, and I don't know. I just don't enjoy it very much, and building a course on that, it just doesn't look right, and the same with other platforms like Teachable. I hate Teachable as a student. I do not like the experience on Teachable. So for me, it's always been about providing a nice classroom. Think of a classroom that has plants and has books and has pictures on the walls and all of that. People like coming there and learning from you, as opposed to a really stark classroom that has nothing in it other than, just maybe the video. And so, anyway, I will send you that spreadsheet. Let me go to the questions now so that we can make sure that they can be answered as well. Again, if you have a question, don't in the chat, put it in the Q&A, please, because at this point, I'm not able now to monitor the chat anymore. So let's go to the questions. So the first one is from Rachel. Is there a drip feature for courses? Not a drip feature, not a dynamic drip, as I call it, based on the sign up. You can use dates, you can schedule lessons. So if you have a course that starts on a certain date, then let's say on 1st September is when my course starts, and then I'm going to release a lesson every week thereafter, you can do that. But you cannot say, a student signs up today and then they get the first lesson and then 3 days later they get the next and so on. Cannot do that. There's no dynamic drip option in Squarespace. Next question from Kathy. Is there a backend for us? No, there isn't. I mean, I addressed that in the presentation, and I'm afraid there isn't. Now, Anya made a good point that apparently that's a good thing in Europe or in Germany, where they're like really hot on data protection, and they don't want that level of control, for instance, over what people do. And, again, like I said as well, I don't want to control my students' progress like that. Like for me, that's not necessary with self-study courses, which people can do at their own pace. So that has been answered. Next question is from Verity. Can I migrate the lessons that you already built on member areas to courses? I wish. There is no easy way. Now, there might be, some of you might know Michael, who has this amazing Squarespace tools, and he actually, they enable us to move content more easily from one website to another. But I don't know if he has developed something for this. Probably not yet, because courses is so new. And at this point, it's going to have to be a manual effort. And that's something that I am also going to have to look at, because I'm going to have to see. I do not recommend to have both member sites and courses outside of member sites, because that is potentially confusing. So if you decide what you want to do, so to look at member sites again, so one thing you could, for instance, do, I've been kind of giving that some thought, because member sites is actually really powerful. You can have a member site, and in that you could have a course using the courses product. You could also have a video page in there where, for instance, you have a video library for all of the videos that are in your course. That makes sense if your course also has written content and other things, but you maybe want to offer your students just one place for only the videos. You could have a video page. You could also use a blog in that member site for announcements, for instance, so you could have announcements about your course, use it in the blog, and then if you have campaigns, you can easily send that as an email to your students, so there are ways that you can make a member site basically into a program and make it work really well. But if you only have courses and you only want to have courses, just use courses on its own. Don't worry about member sites. Just use courses, put them in the not linked section, put them behind a paywall, and then, people can just use them as is. That is probably what I will gonna be doing. So but it means I have to move content over. So I have a bit of thinking to do as well, on what I'm going to do about this. All right. Next question is from Susan. How do you think this new feature could integrate used to teach a live class over Zoom? Well, you could use this feature if you teach a live class and you want to have a place put your class afterwards. So if you want to have like an archive of what you teach, then you could use courses for that, and you could add the videos into that, or you could use a video page too, and have a video library, for instance. You could also invite people to come there. You could use courses to explain more about what your classes are about, have a place for your students to come to where they get information. That is what you would do. You'd probably still use Zoom or something like that to teach your live class. And then, you'd have to download that as a video, and then you can upload that into courses, so that is one way that you could use it. Next up, we have Tim. You have member areas and you're a little confused how to integrate with courses. Can you move content? Well, we just answered that. So I hope you heard the answer to that, Tim. Yeah, you have to do it manually. And I might, maybe I'll even write a blog post or put something on my YouTube where I explain a little bit more about, member sites, which is what used to be member areas, and courses. It really comes down to, we just have to kind of learn this. Every time there is a new thing out there, we expect it to be immediately easy and clear and all of that. And that is just not really the case. If some of you remember when Squarespace launched 7.1, many of us were upset because it was so different, and because we really liked 7.0. And so many of us really resisted 7.1, including myself, even though when I first saw it, I thought, oh, this is actually really cool, and then I realized I just have to learn it. I have to learn it. I have to understand it and learn it, and then I can use it, and then I can make the best out of it, and now I love 7.1, so there is a bit of a learning curve, and there is a learning curve right now to understand, what is the difference between member sites and courses, and you will get there. I got my head around it too. I had to get my own head around that as well. Again, initially I thought, oh my gosh, Squarespace, this is too confusing, but now that I've actually started using it, it's like, wow, this is actually really nice. I like this a lot. And I think this will make for a really nice student experience as well. Yeah, so watch out, I might talk a bit more about that. So next question is from Gumchen. This is rolling out for 7.1 and you're on 7.0. No, this courses will not be available on 7.0. You can use member sites on 7.0, but not courses. And you are leery about starting over and how it will affect your SEO. All I can say to that is, if you have the time, make the move. 7.1 is so much further ahead now. 7.1 has so many amazing features. It's where all the development goes, and it really is worth it. It is worth making that move. I mean, 7.0 can still be a really nice website, but if you actually actively use your website, especially with member sites and all of that, I would say consider moving to 7.1. It's a lot of work, but it's absolutely worth it, and I actually have a blog post. If you go to my blog, on how to move from 7.0 to 7.1, there is a checklist, and it is a step-by-step approach on how to do it. So I would say consider that. It's definitely worth it, especially if you have courses, you can then also use this new product, which is so nice. Next up, we have Rachel, who is asking, I've used the blog with the password approach, and do you know if there's an easy way to transfer? Again, same as if you were using member areas, it has to be done manually. And I think it's worth it. Sometimes we have to keep working on things, especially with technology, things move on, and we have to be flexible and put a little bit of effort in as well, if we want to stay up to date and use the new stuff, which in this case I think is worth it. So yeah. Next question is from Marlene. I need Squarespace's own info, or I read Squarespace's own, and I'm unclear on whether I need to set up for a new account. Okay, so we have covered that, right? Digital products, which includes courses, member sites, and video pages, is an add-on to your website plan, just like campaigns for email marketing is an add-on. I will probably have another, I'll do another video or something on YouTube about that. Noticing that a lot of folks are using Crowdcast, I use Zoom. I just love Crowdcast. I use Zoom too for like one-on-one meetings, but as I've attended a lot of Crowdcast webinars that I really liked, and I've co-hosted them as well. And then I decided, to do my own webinars. And I thought, actually, Crowdcast, that's all they do. They just specialize in webinars. And so they don't have all this other stuff that some of the other providers or platforms have. And it's just nice to use. I like the chat section. I love the Q&A section. It's just a great platform. Yeah, so I just really like it. And that's why I use it. Then next question, hang on a second. Oh, that was the question from Lori. Okay. Next question is from Lona. So you have two websites, 7.1 and 7.0. And how does Squarespace handle the EU VAT and all of that? You're going to have to reach out to Squarespace about that. I know that taxation is more complicated, and Teachable kind of handles that for you. That is, however, also because Teachable is actually a teaching platform. So actually the VAT that they pay is because they are, the big customer who has online courses, not because that's what you do. It's not for you individually, but because you're using Teachable as your host, it can be done through that. It is a little bit different on Squarespace, I agree, and I'm not quite sure. So I would say reach out to Squarespace support and ask them about that. I am not a tax expert, I'm afraid. Okay, next question is from Laurie. Should I move from 7.0 to 7.1? Yeah, I just answered a similar question. And I highly recommend it. Again, go to my blog and look for the 7.0 to 7.1 guide, how to best do that. Next question is from Rachel. I have a shop on my website, so I sell courses and workshops there at the moment. Can I still do that? Or does each course have to have its own landing page where people sign up and pay for it? No, I mean, do you use commerce products to sell your courses? Because that's what I have done. I use like a service product in commerce to sell courses, but then you have to have a way for people to join your course, So in this case, you want to create, if you want to use courses, it becomes a digital product, and then you use digital products, So I would definitely recommend. I'm assuming that you have had, I don't know where your whole courses are hosted. Are they hosted on Squarespace member sites or a blog or something? Yeah, so you might have to move everything over to the digital product, and then use their pricing plans. Their pricing plans are so much better. I mean, they are amazing, actually. If you have a bundle where you have, let's say, 4 courses in a bundle, people only pay for the bundle, and then in their account dashboard, they immediately see all 4 courses. So there is no separate joining a course or each course. That's what I used to have to do. Some of you who have my bundles you get my email, to join this course, click here. Then you have to join this course, click here, and then this course. Don't have to do any of that anymore. It's all automatically there. So I think, definitely worth moving over to the digital products. Next question. We have a lot of questions, so we still have a few more minutes, so okay. Ramona is asking, I was having trouble understanding how to upgrade my account for more video capacity. So if you have, the add-on for digital products, so they have the 3 tiers, the starter, the core, I think it's called, and the grow and the pro. You just go into your billing, and that's where you can upgrade. So you have to upgrade to one of the higher digital products plans. Nothing to do with your website plan. It's your digital product plan that determines how many video hours you get. Okay, next question from Wendy. Can the same course live in a member site and also live in courses? Yes, but you'd have to duplicate it. And you cannot actually duplicate a course as such. You can duplicate lessons inside a course, but a whole course, like a collection, cannot be duplicated. So you'd have to create it twice. And that means you'd also have to update it twice, if it's a course that needs updating. But it is possible to do that, yes. Next question, Lorraine. Multifaceted Lorraine, I like that. Payment plans. How are the course modules released? Clients shouldn't be able to get access to the whole course on a payment plan. So how's this addressed? Well, people will have immediate access to everything unless you use dates to schedule a release. And that's similar to the question earlier about drip feeds. It is not possible to have a dynamic drip feed that is based on the course sign-up date. At the moment, we cannot do that. So if that is important for your course, then you will have to maybe look at one of the other course platforms. Squarespace is not going to work for everyone. I totally get that. And that's fine. We have a lot of other options as well. So definitely check out some of the other options in that case. We don't have to make Squarespace. I mean, we might all love Squarespace, but if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Then it doesn't have to. You can definitely go somewhere else then if you have, different needs. So, okay. Next question from Golnar. So if you move a course into member sites, I'm assuming you could link to the other course pages from another page within the existing member sites. Yes, you could. If I would like to keep the current lesson overview page I made for my existing course that helps students transition more smoothly into the new course layout, I could keep that overview page design and just link out to the new course pages with the videos. I think so. Now, each lesson has a URL, so test that. So each lesson in courses has a URL. So see if you can link to that, and if when you're logged in, if you can then see it. It should be possible to do that. It definitely requires some thinking if we are going to transition students. Same here, and I will probably share more about that process as well, once I have decided what I'm going to do and why and how I'm going to do it. So always good to think about these things, because we want to make this as easy for our students as possible, right? So appreciate that question, Gona. Then Jai has a question. Hang on a second. Right. Yeah, the spreadsheet. I will send the spreadsheet with my email. I will email you after this and you'll get the spreadsheet. Now, the spreadsheet will have formulas. I'm not going to be able to troubleshoot the spreadsheet. So you have to be a little comfortable with spreadsheets, but, so if you mess anything up, yeah, start again, I guess, but I will be happy to send the spreadsheet, yes. And Wendy is asking, would I, oh yeah, okay, same question, spreadsheet. Yes, I am going to share the spreadsheet. So Alison is asking, do you have any tips for a course that has both asynchronous and synchronous sections? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Alison. I don't know. If you could maybe clarify that. I am not sure, sorry. It is now 10 o'clock and we still have, oh my gosh, we have a lot of questions still. So I'm actually not going to be able to address all of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all of this afterwards. I'm going to download all of your questions and I will send you all an email where I answer these questions. So I will do that in the follow-up email that you will get. This is clearly a big topic and there will be more information coming out. I will probably also post a few more YouTube videos on some of these questions. And I am encouraged, because I think a lot of people are very excited. And as I always say, it's just a question of really learning it, understanding it, and understanding what it can do. And is it then still the right thing for us, for what we want and what we need, So personally, I am really excited about it. I will also have a course, you will get information about that as well, where I am going to teach, how to use courses, how it all fits in with member sites. It will be much more detailed, much more thorough than what I was able to do in this presentation. It will also include modules on how to actually create a course, and the content, and also how to market it with car marketing, right? So so I will send that all along. And thank you so much for coming to the webinar today. And I hope it was helpful. And I will see you guys all soon. Thank you so much. Take care.